There we go. I'm always the first one to leave my microphone on mute. I'm so bad for that. Okay, anyway, we have so many viewers on. We're broadcasting right now on. There we go. I'm always the first one to leave my microphone. And I even left my phone on. There we go. We would love to hear from where you're watching from. Right now, I'm broadcasting from Little Lance, Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia. And I'm looking to the comments in the side because we're about to bring on a motivational speaker, a mom who is real. She has had and is in experiencing success, but she has been through the real of the real of the real. So viewers, if you would be so kind as to put where you're watching from, and I'm going to make sure we have her on screen with us here. How are you all doing tonight? This is a mom show. It's about to get fun and a little real. So hang on to your britches. All right, there we go. I even put on my crazy camera lights for tonight for this one. And right after this show is, I'm going to bring up this. Right after this show, we're tuning in with a girlfriend that I worked at a Greek restaurant with, a bar and tavern in Hinton, Alberta. Sherry Woodman. She's going to be coming on. I haven't seen her in years, but I've been following her for a couple of years in her cooking show. She's going to be coming on with a vintage cooking show right after this. And I'm so excited because the girl can cook like no tomorrow. So I'm excited. So I'm going to doll up and dress up for her vintage glam show with my new little necklace from the dollar store. Look at this, you guys. Isn't that neat? Can you see that? It's got little tassels on it. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. This is like a mom's night of getting together. They even had, so at the dollar store, they had this little set. Look at this now. They had this for $4, I think. I got this whole set with little like leopard earrings. Isn't that neat? Anyway, I just love it. And you're going to know why I'm bringing that up, because later I'm going to share why it's important to improvise and not be afraid to buy jewelry at the dollar store. Anyway, tonight our show is sponsored by Lavelle. I'm a thriver. Bing, 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 bing. See those little puppies there? I am a thriver. Yes, I am. I've been a thriver for 4.5 years, and I'm very grateful. I was able to earn the car in week number 6. I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you this to hopefully inspire you that when you see these businesses, and if you like something and love something, if you love a product, then your enthusiasm can capture the interest of the world. Even if you don't feel that no one is watching, well, even better. That means you should be sharing because it's a perfect platform to practice. So are you ready? Are you going to join in with us tonight and make this a fun show? If you want to do that, please, on the side comments, put where you're watching from. Say hello, because we are going to bring up now Mrs. Karen Dean, who is a motivational speaker. She just raised $75,000. Karen had lost a good friend in the recent tragedy on April 18th and 19th in Nova Scotia, Canada. And Karen, instead of letting it push her down, she got up. She's a single mom of 3. She got up and decided to do something, and you're going to hear about that tonight. So anyway, I really hope you join us. Here we go. Hello, my dear.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Good. Considering everything good. Let's do a sound check just before we start. Let's see if our viewers, could you put on the side if you can hear us? Just comments. Yes or no. If you can hear us, we would be really grateful for that. How are you doing, Karen?
Very well considering. It's been a tough spring.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance like this to actually sit down and just be me. I've been doing lots of podcasts, interviews, everything else where I have to maintain a real professional format.
Hmm.
And I haven't had the opportunity to just be me with another woman and talk. So tonight, I want to thank you for coming on. This is the first little interview we're going to do with you, and then you're on your way with your own broadcast. So I'm really honored to be on tonight with you. Thank you for coming on.
Ew.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say to start this off, Karen. I'm in a spot where I see myself kind of deflecting the grief that we've all been through. I don't even know at some points how to process it. I don't even know
Um,
what to do with it. And that's where I'm at with it. Where are you with it?
I think we all feel similar to how you feel. We've just been through so much, more than any of us could have ever prepared for. And I'm with you that some days it's just too much. And even before the shootings happened, which was like really bad, just with COVID and the unknown. I don't know if you as a mom, but for me, I felt like I can't control this. I can't see this. I can't protect my kids from this because that's what my life has been all about is protecting my kids from things. And I found it, to be honest, very overwhelming at the beginning. And I was just getting better with the whole COVID thing. And then the mass shooting happened. And I lost a dear friend in that. And it was where it ended is like 20 minutes from my house. It was just really way too close to home. And so there's been so many emotions, so hard to process. And you just, some days are pretty good. Some days you just need to sit on the couch and read a book or whatever it is that makes you feel better. I've had a lot of those days too.
And you know what I found about myself too? I was feeling almost guilty in the beginning. I was wondering because we had so many things happen in Nova Scotia all at once. So, yes, Nova Scotia, Canada, the rest of the world, but let's just take our little bubble here in Nova Scotia. We had so many things happen, and I found myself feeling guilty, almost judging myself for the way my emotions were dealing with it because I wasn't crying. I
Hmm.
wasn't sitting down in a puddle of, oh my God, what do we do? I literally, Karen, was almost like a zombie mode of not even knowing how to process it because it's not something natural that any of us would ever expect to have to process.
No, it's not. And I think a lot of people are like that. When some people, the tears come because it's been so much. But I'm like you, a lot of days I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to say to my kids. I don't know what to say to myself to get through this because it's nothing that we could ever prepare for. And it's just been so much. And I think everybody's feelings are valid no matter which way you look at it. It's,
Yeah.
everyone has to feel their feelings and it's okay to feel those feelings. And I think that's so important to know is that we shouldn't feel bad for feeling the way we feel, just to make sure you process it and deal with it is the most important part.
And then what do you think about this? And then on top of that guilt of like, wow, am I the only one that's not processing this like a normal human being? Then on top of that, we get the guilt of we're not doing enough during the day. Time management. Like Karen, I'm usually a stickler about like I have 5 kids and I know you have 3. 3, 5, 1. Doesn't make a difference how many kids you have. You still typically have a routine, even if you're not the most organized person. Organization is not my top skill at number 10, but I still had somewhat of a structure going on, and that was all blown to pieces. And then I started feeling guilty that I wasn't getting enough done during the day. I felt guilty that I was sitting on a lazy boy chair. I would get the kids breakfast, get them off to, doing their things. And then I'm like, and then we're in the middle of COVID. And of course they're on their devices more. So I'm now all of a sudden the guilt is starting to set in that Oh my God. And so what's the first thing I do? I start kind of looking at the people I follow and look up to, and what are they doing on, and where do I go? I go to Facebook. That's not a validation of what someone's doing. That's a front page cover. Those are like the
Right.
best pictures, right? Nobody
Mm-hmm.
sees the chaos before bedtime and the chaos at breakfast and just getting up as a mom and deciding, all right, the day must go forward. Get out of bed and put one foot in front of the other.
Yes. I have had so many days like that where, quite frankly, I didn't want to get out of bed. And then it's oh my gosh, I've got to do homeschool today. And oh, they need to eat. Like, you couldn't go out to eat. You couldn't order in for the longest time. And I said so many times, like, really, you're hungry again? Like, it's just not our norm. When they're at school all day, you send them with a lunch and you don't see them until they get home. And it seemed like every 5 minutes somebody wanted food or somebody needed something. It was completely overwhelming. And it's this whole new reality that, now we've had summer break already since March, and it's not even summer break yet.
Yeah.
So I've been the same. It's like, ugh, I got to do this again today. I mean, and I love my kids more than anything. But I too, like my 12-year-old daughter was on her device way too much. I actually had to set limits for that because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
And I've been so busy sitting at my desk working because I run my business from home that
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like I'm a horrible mom right now. And then it's someone comes and says, what are we having for supper? And I'm like, crap, it's 5 o'clock already. You just lose track. And I know other women are feeling the same struggle, and it's just a lot. And it's okay. It's normal.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And it's okay to be real. And that's one thing about social media. I know we try to always be our best on social media, but I try to be real too. I shared a really personal story a couple weeks ago. About 14 years ago, I left a very abusive relationship, and my fears around that. And so many people, I even had a man send me a private message and said, I wish I was as strong as you.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought tears to my eyes. So, that's what I think so many of us need to know is it's okay to be real, and it's okay to be a little broken because we all are.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have gray roots and a ponytail with your bangs too long, and all of that's
And
okay.
extensions in. Don't forget.
Yes,
I'm desperate to just have a haircut.
I'm going tomorrow. I can't wait.
And I'm not one to spend a lot of money on myself, but dear sweet mother of whatever, I would love to just have somebody wash my hair. Anyway, yeah, no,
Oh,
exactly, Karen.
yeah. I couldn't wait. And I had a massage today, which everyone goes, oh, that must be so nice. But no, it's a therapy massage because I have a bad back and there's nothing fun about it. But I was like, humans that don't live with me, I'm so happy to see you.
And the post office lady, she dropped off my Thrive and I ran out in my Walmart nightgown and I like she looked at me like, "Oh dear." And
Like,
I'm like,
hi,
"Hi, like, do you want to stay or just talk for a little bit?"
yes, please. I know.
But
I feel
no,
the same.
you know, okay. So let's talk a little bit about our story. Karen, tell us about yourself. Tell us how you got to where you are. Tell us about your initiative you just did right now. Like, woman, you got up in the middle of something extremely tragic. And that's another thing. I mean, okay, when something tragic happens, an outlet for healing and somehow manifesting that you're going to make it through it is connecting with other humans. What other better way than to do something for someone else because it connects you? So I found myself, I don't know about you, but I found myself ramping up the podcast interviews because that connection of seeing and talking with someone and knowing that I was able to give them some light and comfort and likewise made me feel good. But what about yourself? You've been able to do something really incredible. Tell us about that.
I want to back up a little bit first and say that when
Yes,
COVID
back up, back
started,
up.
well, I can go way back, but for now, when COVID started, and I'm a resilience coach, so I coach women to live their best lives and to be resilient through the hard times. But when COVID started, and like I
Yeah,
said, with all the unknowns and my kids, I was just so worried. The media just made it kind of seem like we are all going to die. We just had to wait our turn in the beginning. And it took
yeah,
a while for me to adjust to that. And I did not have enough energy within myself to coach at that point in time because I knew I had to look after me and I knew I had to look after my kids. And that was my primary goal. And I spent a lot of time on my couch and doing nothing because that's what
yeah,
knew I needed to do. But then the mass shooting happened. Like I said, really close to home. And I lost a very good friend. Gina Goulet was his last victim. And she was an amazing single mom, like I am and like you were. And I sat for 2 days and cried and cried and cried and didn't know what to do. And then I got this voice in my head, this overwhelming feeling that I had to help. I had to do something. There were so many people suffering and I had to do something to help. So for 10
mhm,
years, I've had an online clothing company called Countrified Clothing. And I kind of had lost my passion for it and hadn't really been doing much with it the last couple of years, focusing more on the
yeah,
coaching and writing a book. And I just called my graphic designer and my printing company in tears, literally crying to her on the phone, like the poor woman. And I said, I need a shirt. I need a shirt that's going to fly off the shelves. I wanted to say Nova Scotia Strong. And I'm going to donate all the profits to the fund that the Red Cross has set up. It's called the Stronger Together Nova Scotia Fund. And I said, I'm going to give all the profits to that fund because it helps the families. And I have to make this work. So that was on the Tuesday after the shootings. And on Thursday morning, they sent me the design, which you can see I'm wearing. And there's a shirt behind me. They sent me 4 different designs. I picked this one. And at noon that day, I bought a domain name. I set up the website, and by 4 o'clock, I had the website live and ready to go. And I was actually on CBC National News that night and
yeah. I remember
launched
that.
it on there. And it's been phenomenal. It's literally they are flying off the shelves with the help of me, and a really good friend has done a lot of help. My 12-year-old daughter has helped me a lot, and I've had a few other friends that have come in when we can. Um, it's been phenomenal, and I'm so grateful. And it's helped me heal so much by helping other people and by knowing that I was making a difference. And $100,000 is my goal for the fund. I'm at 75,000 right now. And it sounds like a
Wow.
lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but I know it's not enough. Like those
Yeah.
families are going to need support for so long. That pain is not going to go away anytime soon. And it's just my little bit that I can help. And I'm a home-based business. And like I said, I'm just me and my kids for the most part, and my friend Kim.
Mhm.
And it's just I had to do it. And I've literally been working 7 days a week, 12, 14, 16-hour days. I haven't been sleeping, you might be able to tell. But it's keeping me going. It really is. And every time I'm feeling down or I have a bazillion questions from people of how to do this, or oh my gosh, I ordered the wrong thing, can you change my order? Every time I get one of those, I hear Gina going, suck it up, princess, do it, get it done. And
Yep.
that's totally what she would say. Um,
Yeah.
so I can just feel her cheering me on all the time and saying, thank you for doing something. And her daughter was here yesterday and we broke the rules and we hugged because she said, can I hug you? And I said, you can hug me all day long. And it was so amazing. Her daughter is a phenomenal young woman, and I'm just so glad to have her in my life too.
Let's take it back even further, Karen. Let's go back. We have viewers on a couple channels here, viewers, and we really appreciate you chiming in and bringing something to the table. So if there's a topic that you think we could talk about as women, as moms, bring it to the table. We love that. There's nothing we won't talk about.
Nope. Open book.
Yeah. Karen, let's go back to our ground zero stories, because I have people lots, and they give me this look. They go, how do you do? They close their eyes and they go, how do you do what you do? And I look at them and I go, well, how do you do what you do? Like, I'm no
Right.
different than anyone else. I still have the chaos at bedtime. I have the chaos in the morning. I have the times 90% of the day where I'm sitting down in a big pink chair and going, what is my next move? I'm the girl that is trying to work on my time management skills. And having to put four kids through homeschooling and figuring out whose class is when and how, and one computer, and living in a remote area, and then also dealing on a personal level, with my past as a child and a teenager. So we all have ground zero stories to tell. I don't think I've met, and all of these people, even some of my greatest mentors in life, who I look up to and go, oh my gosh, I want to be like them. I want to be where they are. And it's not about just money. It's just they're so successful. And I've talked to those people, and every single one of those people, because my tribe are people that are real, no BS. Every single one of those people that are at that point now in their life really gives the credit to going through something very dark in their life that they had to climb out of the ashes from, pretty much. So yes. Can you share with us your ground zero story? I'm going to put you on solo screen because you've told me a bit about it, and I think it's a really important story to get out. So I'm going to put you on solo screen so that I'm off the screen while you tell this. Okay? There's no rush for time.
All right. My story goes way back to childhood. I grew up with two brothers. We kind of got along, but there was always a lot of dysfunction in our family, and I actually am estranged from my whole family now. It was just toxic and dysfunctional, and I felt like I needed, for my own health, to distance myself from them. So that started it. I was never, I never felt like I was pretty. I never felt, and I was always slim and an athlete and made great marks in school, but I never felt like anybody was proud of me. I never got the validation from other people. And so I grew up with very low self-esteem. In university, I was raped by somebody I knew, and that brought me down even further on the self-esteem scale. And then I got into a really horrible marriage, which I was manipulated. The guy told me that, he promised me the moon. He promised me everything. He knew the things to say that this young woman wanted to know. So at 23, I got married to a man. And 2 weeks after I found out I was pregnant, actually, no, 2 weeks after we got married, I found out I was pregnant. And he told me when I announced that I was pregnant that if I ever left him, he would shoot me in the head when I drove out the driveway. So I stayed for 9.5 years until I got brave enough to leave. And within those 9.5 years, I had two children. And when my son was 8 weeks old, I was told that he had been born with a brain injury and would probably never walk or talk. And that was my life from then on, was trying to make sure he did walk and talk. And so he was 5 and my daughter was 8 when I finally got brave enough to leave. And my ex-husband reminded me that he would shoot me in the head when I left, like the day before I left. But as you can see, I'm here, and he didn't. But it was probably the scariest drive I've ever had. And my kids are safe and they're fine. And then I immediately met another guy, actually is the guy I rented my house from. and we got married, and life seemed pretty good. And we had another baby. And I learned after we got married that there were a lot of mental health issues that he had that were undiagnosed and that he kept hidden from me. And then I found out that he had sexually assaulted my daughter. And that's when I left him. And that was 8.5 years ago. And it's been a ride since then. The daughter was then, she was diagnosed with MS when she was 15. She had her lung collapse at school when she was 14. She had just turned 14 when I found out what was going on. And I've been a single mom ever since. And I have no regrets. My life is amazing. I worked really hard. I built a new house for me and my kids, and we have a little hobby farm. Like, I'm actually living my dream life now, minus the dream man. And all I can say is it was worth the fight. I have no regrets. I have a lot of life lessons learned. I know that I will never let a man treat me like that again. I've learned a lot about setting boundaries with everybody in my life, like friends, family, and partners. I don't have one right now, but when I do, and I have dated a few people, and as soon as they crossed the boundaries, that was it. I ended it. And that I was really proud of myself for, because I knew that I never did that before. I let people treat me badly. I let people disrespect me. I let people walk all over me. I let people tell me I was ugly and I was stupid and I had a fat ass, like everything. I just, I tolerated it, and I shouldn't have. And I should have stood up for myself. And now I do. I took charge of my own life. I took charge of my kids' lives. They are wonderful, wonderful human beings. They are all doing really well. My daughter, my oldest daughter, went on to graduate from high school with $30,000 in scholarships, and she got high honors. My son, who they told me would never walk or talk, when he started school, he had no adaptations, no help whatsoever from the teachers, and he graduated last year. He's working now. He is, I like to say, as normal as teenage boys get, because if you have a teenage boy, you understand they're not really that normal, but I guess none of us are. And I have a 12-year-old daughter who you will meet tonight, and she is this incredible little girl who just loves life. She loves horseback riding, and she's this strong little girl. They're all these strong kids that um, they're just so kind and good to people and so well adjusted. And that was my biggest fear, was I can't be a good enough mom by myself. Like, I can't do this whole single parenting thing myself. And I did, and I'm still doing it. And my kids are great. And they, it's just, I'm so grateful for the life that I have. I'm so grateful that I had the power to do that. And none of it was easy. It's still not easy. But like I said, life is amazing. Zero regrets, tons of life lessons learned. So that's the Coles notes. The whole story will be in the book when I get it written.
Wow, there was so many parts of that I resonated with.
Yeah, and I think so many women do. And that's why I tell my story, because I think we need to tell our stories, because I think we need women who are going through it, who understand that they don't have to live in that. They don't have to let people mistreat them. They don't have, even family. Like I said, I dropped my whole family because they did not treat me well, ever. My brothers live on the other side of the country, and when they came home, the first thing they said to me was always an insult, always.
Mm-hmm.
And, I said, you know what? We're not teenagers anymore. That was kind of funny when we were teenagers, but we're in our 40s now. Like, you need to grow up. And they just didn't. Like, nothing changed. And I said, I can't do this anymore. And there's a lot more to it. It got a lot worse than that. Mm-hmm. But it's the boundaries thing. And I had such a struggle with that always.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like I could set a boundary. I didn't even know what that was.
Yes. Yep.
And
Exactly.
yeah. And, my first husband told me, I'm not going to tell you you're pretty. That'll go straight to your head. And I'm like, okay. I don't understand. But, his friends would say like some comment, usually sarcastic, about, oh, you're hot or whatever. And he'd go, don't
Yeah.
tell her that. It'll go right to her head. And I'm like, that's not how
Oh,
marriages are supposed to be. And for the women who are listening who think, oh, it's just words, it's not just words. I think words hurt as much or more than physical abuse because the words stay with
yeah.
you. Bruises heal, but the words stick with you. And I have worked so hard in the last 8 years since I've become single to empower myself, to love myself. My biggest thing, let me think, 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago now, a friend of mine, she's become a friend. At the time, she was just an acquaintance, is a life coach. And I took, it was called Inner Boot Camp with her. And she looked at me on one of our first sessions, and I was telling her all the stuff I just said. And she goes, what part do you think you played in that? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean, me? Like, I was thinking, these people did this to me. And then she talked a little more about it, and I was pretty mad, I've got to say. But then the next session, she did a talk about loving yourself. And she gave
Yeah.
us this postcard that I still have, and I actually pass these out when I do my speeches. She gave me a postcard, and there were 4 or 5 of us in the group. And she said, I want you to take this home. I want you to put it in your bathroom by your mirror, and I want you to read it to yourself every morning and look yourself in the mirror when you read it. And all it says is, I deeply and completely love myself. And I couldn't do it.
Hmm.
It took me 2 years to be able to read that out loud. And I know there's so many women who can't say those words and mean them.
Yeah.
And that was the most powerful thing that anybody ever taught me in the last 8 years, in my whole life, really.
Do you feel, Karen, that you came out of that stronger, but with some bruises? Like, talk about your success and yet your bruises that you live with, because you're very successful. You're a very successful businesswoman, a modest one, a very modest one. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what you do. But talk about the bruises that come with that, and yet the choice to be successful.
There's definitely a lot of bruises, and they don't completely heal. I do. I still have flashbacks. When the mass shooting happened, it brought back a lot of, because I have feared for my life because my second husband with his mental
Mhm.
health issue, I feared for my life a lot. I was scared to open the door a
Yeah.
lot. So that really, like, those things come back. And that's why I had to sit with them and deal with them. And that's what's most important, is to acknowledge them and not to hold them in, because you can't
Yeah.
ever get past it if you hold it in. You have to, in whatever way it is that you deal with things. I'm a talker. I have to say it. I have to say it out loud. Some people find journaling helpful. They write it down and it feels better. But
Yeah.
my poor friends, I'm like, I just need to rant. And that's what I do. And I say, I don't want you to tell me what to do. I don't want your advice. I don't want your opinion. I just need to get this off my chest. And that's what you need to do with your friends, is, set those boundaries and say, look, I just need to rant. Please don't tell me what to do. Like, I don't need your help. I just need your ear. And that's
Yeah.
really powerful to be able to do that. And I think the scars are what's pushed me to be as successful as I am. Because people
Hmm.
say, like they say to you, how do you do what you do? How did you get through that? How did you deal with, the sexual assault and everything that came after that? I said, what choice did I have? Like, I did what I had to do. I looked
Yeah.
at him that night when I found out, and I said, you need help. And then I said, and I'm not the one to give it to you. And I
Yeah.
said, get out. And then I got my kids, and I kept them safe. And from
Hmm.
that moment on, it was, how do I get my kids through this? how do I get them through it so that they're not scarred for life? And they do have scars. We all do, but it
Yeah.
doesn't affect their daily lives. And they didn't
Right.
turn to drinking and drugs and partying, and like none of them have ever gotten in trouble with the police. And I'm so proud of them because they've made good choices. And to me, that's success as a mom, is that my kids are making good choices and they're being kind to other people. And they don't
Yeah.
have to be doctors or lawyers or anything like that. They just have to be good people. And I think that's
Yeah.
where so many of us struggle, is we have these huge expectations for our kids. But you know what? If they're good people, that's the most important.
Hmm. Yeah, because you can't learn, I shouldn't say can't learn, but it's not something that can be taught, in a book, how to connect with someone. You either want to and put forth the action to connect with someone, or you just don't. And I think opposite to yourself, as much as people might interpret me as an open book, I'm probably the most closed book person you'll ever meet because I'm not a talker. If I'm going through something very difficult, I tend to isolate my thoughts because I don't want to be a burden. I've been through something traumatic as a young girl, so the validation of being able to, tell my story or say that I need help, it really takes a concerted effort for me to do that. Um, we were talking previously to the show and a little bit about our life. And I did take by choice some really incredible treatment. It's called EMDR, eye movement desensitization. They have it for war veterans that have been through something traumatic. It's covered by medical. So if you're watching this tonight, viewers, please Google EMDR. And it's, like I said, it's covered by medical in a lot of places. It's an actual licensed psychologist that has to be licensed to do it. But I went through 4 years of EMDR in total, and every once in a while I still go. It's an incredible treatment. There's 12 sessions in total, and it's to basically it's neuroscience. It's to help unravel the habits, unravel. Is that the right word? I'm thinking of a ball of
Yeah.
yarn.
No,
Yeah,
it
unravel.
works.
It's meant to unravel the habits that you've, without even realizing that you developed after something traumatic. So I don't think about the traumatic situation now as much as I do now the tools and resources that I've been trained to use when I have something, be it a smell, be it a situation that triggers me to, be concerned or in fear. Then I know, okay, take a breather. It's okay to be okay. You don't have to impress anyone. You don't have to validate. You don't need anyone's validation. You just need to put one foot in front of the other. That's all that matters in this very given moment, no matter what we've been through, child, adult, car accident, no, something that was absolutely unexpected. Um, we don't know how we're going to deal with that. We don't know how that's going to affect our life. And we don't know about the habits that our body is instinctively going to, as a survival mechanism, want to protect ourselves and build this nest around ourselves, whether it isolate ourselves from everyone in the public, which is what I did for years. But I just, after I had kids, and most of us can attest to this, though they are our every living reason to get up and not go back to the couch, and go under the covers, which is so much easier to do.
Hmm.
And some days we don't give ourselves enough credit for just putting one foot in front of the other. And that there's so much strength in that, because when you go to ground zero and have to pick yourself up out of something that is so dark and down, it's really, it's not your power. It's whatever your spiritual power is, whatever you lean on, but it's not, it's within you to choose to do that. And that, I find people, especially women, sometimes we think we have to maintain this perfect front. We've got our shit together. We're organized. We know what we're doing. Yeah, we do. But we do know what we're doing, but we don't always have to be that. It's okay to just be okay. And our kids are a priority. So I just knew that day in, in Alberta, I was truck driving, and I was very proud of getting out into the workforce and working. I was 8 months pregnant actually when they realized I was too pregnant to drive a transport truck, and I
Oh,
would
wow.
let go. So and I was a single mom, not in a place where I ever thought I would be in, but here I was. And I decided that day forward, I don't have a choice. These are the kids. These are my legends. It's time to like take life by the horns. And I have been through the worst of the worst. I took on going, I said, enough with truck driving. I love it, but I need to come home. I want to be home near my kids. I want to raise my babies. I don't want someone else putting them in bed at night. And I had to take this leap to come home and work in a new career that, oh my gosh, online marketing and digital and all this. And I'm thinking, okay, but what am I doing this for? I'm doing it for my kids. But then I had to all of a sudden switch now to this world of, now I'm in front of the public eye. And then you get, you always, if you're out there, you're going to get the negativity and the trolls and the ex-girlfriends and the, and I've been through it all, like the girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend that wants to call CPS on you and let them know that you're not the, like I've just been through everything you can possibly imagine. And there comes a point where you have to, here's a saying I love, dogs don't chase parked cars.
Right.
I'm going to say it again. Dogs don't chase parked cars. So if you decide you're going to get up and make something of your life and go one step forward on your own with your kids or without kids, doesn't matter, and you're going to start to do something, there's going to be some obstacles. Don't just think everyone's going to have a pity party for you and go, yay, she's successful now. Because that's not going to happen. No one's thrown me a party yet.
No, me either.
So, you get the gritty smile, like, or you get the admiration, which is like, wow. And I still don't know what to do with the I don't know what to do with either. So that's when you realize, okay, this isn't about what everyone thinks of me. This is about what I think about myself. This is about my kids. And so anyway, I could talk forever because this is such a comfortable conversation for me being, real and open. But let's bring on our greatest testimonials, which is our beautiful kids.
I'm going to text my daughter. Before we get to them, though, there's a couple points I want to make about what you just said.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
The first thing is something I live by now, which took me a long time, is people who are more successful than you will never criticize you. And those are the people you want to be like. It's the people who are not as successful as you that will criticize you. And the other thing is, we never have to do it alone. I see a therapist, and I have all along, and I have a business coach, because as a business person, it's always better to have a coach to help you in life or in business. And I always say, if I am the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. And I think that's a motto we all should live by. So those are a couple of points to what you've said. That are really important for people to remember is, the people sitting on the couch that are criticizing you are never going to be as successful as you when you're out there killing it. And I think we need to just keep that in mind.
And you're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to fall. You're going to get a bloody nose. And you're going to make the stupidest mistakes. You're going to feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? You're going to ask yourself, but the more you ask yourself, what am I doing? Those are always the greatest moments. I get up in the morning now, and when I see the sun coming up, and I'm like, what am I doing? Okay, who cares? Let's just go one foot in front of the other and let, the answers come. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking, and you go ahead and text your daughter. My daughter's sitting behind here waiting to come on, so I'm going to bring her on too.
Okay. Here comes Casey.
All right, Sam. So we've had some.
We both have little blonde girls.
So you go ahead first, Karen.
Well, this is my baby girl. Her name is Casey. And as I said earlier, her favorite thing to do is ride horses. And we actually have a horse that we I picked a great year to buy a show horse when there's no horse shows, but she still goes to the barn and rides her horse almost every day. And she's my little mini me.
Yeah. How are you
So,
doing? What did you say her name was?
Casey.
Casey. Okay.
Yes.
So Casey, can I ask you a question? What's some of the greatest things you've kind of, and it doesn't have to be big and, big, long, whatever, but just what are some of the things that you appreciate about your mom and watching her just go through real life? What are some things that you're learning as a young woman?
Well, she's really confident and she's very, what's the word? Oh, she's very strong and she's a really good inspiration for a lot of people. And I really look up to her. And she's really trying to think of good words.
I think that's pretty good.
That's good. You had me at confident. I got a lump in my throat.
She's my girl.
So you're gonna grow up in life, Casey, and you're gonna have your own ups and downs and good times and bad times. And what are some things you're gonna remember when you encounter a difficult time?
Well, in some situations, it's not always your fault, and even if people try to make you think that's what happened, it's not always what happened. And you just need to remember that you don't need other people's opinion, and you don't need other people to be okay with it, because you can do it.
And by the way, viewers, there was no preparation for this show, much like many of our Ripple Effect shows. It's all about being transparent. It's live. There's no editing or polishing any videos. So this is all about just being talking with each other. Casey, what do you like doing in life? What do you like horses? Do you have any favorite subjects at school that you don't fall asleep to?
I don't know. School's not one of my favorite things.
It's not your favorite subject. Karen, what do you same to you? What do you admire about your daughter and what? I don't know about you, but I've learned so much from my daughter Eva. Lo and behold, she's 12, and I've learned and still learn daily from her. Very different personality than mine. She's way more chill, just calm. I call her the magical put people to sleep kid. But what do you love? What are you learning from your daughter?
From this daughter, I am learning to not doubt myself. She is my empowerer. She's the one who tells me all the time I'm beautiful and she loves me so much. And she just always builds me up. And I think that's so important for our kids to do that for us, just like we do it to them, because I know there's a lot of days I feel like a really horrible mom. And when she says, you're the best mom in the world, like it just melts my heart. And so those are the things. The biggest thing I love about her is how much she loves me, and isn't afraid to say it. And I think my two teenagers, well, one's not a teenager anymore, but like my older ones are 22 and 19, and they're past that stage of, oh, I love you, mom, and I want to cuddle with you, and I just want to hold on to this one forever and keep her at this stage.
Yeah. I think I told you that the other day. Don't grow up. No more. You're allowed to be 12 and then that's it.
I know.
Yeah.
Stop there. Don't become a teenager.
Yeah. I'm learning from Eva just how to walk into a situation and assess it with different perspectives. She's so open to everyone's opinion, and half the reason that motivated or inspired me to launch Ripple Effects years ago was her ability to just listen to people. And I sat back and I thought, I'm not listening enough. I like you said, if you're the one in the room doing most of the talking, you're in the wrong room. And so I really learned, that from her. But what do you enjoy, and tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Eva.
Yeah.
I am 12 years old. I really like science and like physics and stuff like that. I am not. I am very much a introvert. I do not like going places. I just like staying at my house,
Chilling. Yeah.
chilling, and I love journaling and writing and like talking to people, and I love just hearing, even if they're boring stories, like
Which are most mine.
Right.
I love listening to your stories.
Yeah.
I love giving. I love giving. It just makes me so happy to feel proud of myself for giving back and making people smile, because that's making a difference in the world. And so,
And you've seen mom go through some tough times, and get, and you've always been there to say, to give me the same as what she just said to her mom, the commendation to keep going. What are some things you're going to learn? What are some things you're going to take with you in life? I always tell her, I say, copy my good things, copy my good skills. Don't worry about the stuff I'm not great at, but copy the good things. And so what are the good things you're going to kind of take into life with you as you start to?
I don't know, just what she said, like one step. I go by every second of the day. When I'm feeling down, I just breathe and just take each second at a time, and I just figure out how I can make that second, that moment right there, the best. And that's by making people happy, and trying to tell myself that like I'm not alone, and
it's okay to not be perfect. We're always talking about that, because we have a few in our family that the string of wanting to be perfectionist runs through, and it can create anxiety. So having the chat with her about it's okay not to be.
It's okay not to
What do
be
we always say? We have a
sometimes.
saying. Yeah. And it's okay to not have all the answers. What do we say? And not have all the answers all the time.
It's just what you said.
It's okay to not have all the answers.
And one thing that Eva said that I think is really important, and I'm glad she realizes it at this young age, is the importance of breathing. And it's something that I talk about in my coaching, is that when you're feeling overwhelmed or scared, or any of those emotions that you just don't know what to do, just taking like 3 to 5 really deep intentional breaths and only think about your breathing can change your mindset so quickly, and really make a situation be a lot better. And I think we forget to do that. I mean, breathing is just something we do, but when you really take time to focus on it and only focus on those breaths going in and out, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you know that at 12.
She does. Yeah, exactly.
It took me like 45 years to figure that out.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you. And Casey, as in closing words, because I can't believe we've been an hour together here tonight.
I know.
Casey, and Karen, your show next week is going to rock. I mean, I'm so excited to watch your show next week. Casey, what are a couple words of wisdom that you would give another young girl if she was watching this show and felt like no one knows what she's going through? What are some words of wisdom that you would pass on?
Always love yourself, even if other people don't, because you're the only person that not matters, but kind of matters to yourself. And you should never love anyone more than you love yourself.
Yeah. What about you?
Exactly what she said. I'm not very good at this. But yeah, just if you can't love yourself, then like what's the point of loving anybody else? And it's like you're if you can't love yourself, then like you don't know how to love anybody else. And I think that's one of the very big situations that we have in the world today, that people don't love themselves, and they don't know how to make themselves feel better, and they don't know their strengths and their weaknesses, and so they just live not knowing
Kind of
and
empty.
loving.
Yeah. I tell the kids it's like a remote. I made a fake remote one time with those gel gemstones from the dollar store, because I was trying to get across to my kids that you can actually choose your mood. So I made a fake remote and said, if you're in a mood, I want you to go and press whatever button you want to be, happy, joy, sad, whatever, but you have to press that button, and then your actions have to follow with pressing that button. So my little guy still has that remote. And if he gets in a channel, we say, go change the go change the channel.
I like it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We could talk here and stay forever. I know we have lots of viewers that are putting up lots of love and support and resonating with what we're talking about. Viewers, tune in next Tuesday, the same time. She's a motivational speaker and a lifestyle coach. I won't be on the show next Tuesday. This was an interview to open up her podcast. And I'm really grateful, Karen, to sit back and watch the next 4 series of your show.
Thank you so
Casey.
much.
Thank you for coming on. And thank you, viewers, for sharing this with someone. If they could use the encouragement and connection, we'd love to hear from them as well. Thanks, viewers. Up next is Sherry Woodman from Hinton, Alberta. And she's got live doing a cooking show, another single mom with a little guy. So stay tuned. We don't know what to expect because we're live. This is Rebecca and Karen and Casey and Eva saying hello from Ripple FX Canada out of Nova Scotia, East Coast, Canada. Bye, you guys.
Bye.